Hello, and today we'll continue with Story Zero. The last time, Wavi and Doric had a conversation, and it seems Doric wants Wavi's help. And we also got to see Crown perform, and when we start the next video, he'll still be performing. And Crown also told Wavi while he was on stage that his father was about to do something illegal, and that he should stop him. So I'll go ahead and see what happens next. See what's all that about with his dad. Something about this back and forth feels extremely familiar. In fact, it feels like just like receiving messages through my neural interface, but without the hardware. The jazz works in mysterious ways. We might not always be on great terms, but I'm not in the business of squealing on my family. Good, because that's not what this is about. You want to join us? You're going to need to brush up on your politics. Especially after what I saw tonight. I'll sink a little more before. I sink a little bit more into my stool. Call Dad Doric. Now Crown 2. I don't trust him, but regardless of his motives, your father's a moderating force between many different factions. This if you see it in action. I narrow my eyes at the antlered man on the stage who's now having some sort of mock gunfight. What's the point of this performance anyway? Most of the audience is high as fuck, so I can't imagine it's for them. Whatever. I pluck a bamboo cocktail pick from a nearby crystal glass and then turn to look at Dad, scrutinizing them. What are you getting at, Crown? How do you know all this? Experience and mistakes. You're about to look down a very deep well. I'll give you the choice to dive in before you fall in. Swim before you sink. I chew on the end of the pick, hearing echoes of Doric. I wonder how well they know each other. Yeah. And if I walk away, somehow I can hear his snort in my brain. Good luck. And then right on cue, Dad pulls the mini pad from his pocket. A few taps and his smile fades briefly. Dad's up to something. Follow him and you'll see what I'm talking about. He scheduled an important meeting for just about now, while everyone's distracted and Taurus engaged somewhere. It seems I need to go check on something. Excuse me, Yuri. Wavi. You're right, he's leaving. I'm torn between my curiosity and Dad's monologue earlier about keeping me out of things for my own safety. I'm not eager for another Tarwolf encounter. I get why you want me to see this, but what's it proving? Fuck us aside. You helped me play a fast one on Tarwolf earlier, so I know there's something to you. What I need now is to see how you manage risk without the city's biggest sit stain looming over you. You're so cool under pressure once. But I need more from Kavir's newest Joy Boy. Joy Boy. Even if I weren't interested, his city attitude makes me want to do this just to throw it in his face. I turn to Yuri and wave a goodbye. I'm going to go too. I think my jazz blockers are bugging out. Don't want to be all that. I gesture towards the blissed out crowd. Ureli nods at me, eyeing Dad a final time before returning to his bartending duties. Wise. It feels directed at both of us. Dad brushes it off, waving briefly before merging with the crowd and heading towards the stairs to the second floor. I decide to linger near Yuri for a moment, watching him go. If he's headed upstairs, there's only one place he have the privacy to do that, well, the privacy to do anything illegal. The secure rooms, the secure meeting rooms. Dark is right. With camouflage cameras on their own internal network, remote security monitoring isn't possible in these rooms. There's supposed to be no surveillance at all, but Dad doesn't like leaving things to chance. So for safety and discretion, there's only a single hidden access point, accessible only with Dad's biometrics. Easy. I'll toss my toothpick into a dirty glass. I'm following him. Smart. I push from the bar and I slip into the crowd heading towards the stairs. How far is your range with this ability anyways? Far enough. The issue is time. The jazz pulls in places with high emotional energy. Once the performance ends and people settle down, the connection will be harder to maintain or fade entirely. So focus on your task. That sounds familiar. Ah, Wavi. I freeze, pulse suddenly racing. That voice is seared into my psyche. The hand he wounded briefly aches. I consider dancing away, pretending I can't hear him. But then a heavy paw rests on my shoulder, anchoring me. It squeezes companionably. I was hoping to run into you again. I wanted to show you something. I take a slow breath, trying to find whatever small measure of peace that's been eluding me all fucking day. Huh? I glance over my shoulder. I'm not interrupting anything, am I? Another breath. I turn towards him. The crowd gives him space like an aura. Like they know better. But his smile isn't menacing. Not like it was before. But that doesn't make me feel any better though. You are, actually. I need to deal with some buggy tech. Upstairs. Far away from you. Sit. I find it 12. Fuck that man with a spit. Maybe I don't hate Crown entirely. Maybe I don't hate Crown entirely. Just play it cool. He can't know what we're up to. Okay, right. Yeah, easy. I'll swallow. Tarwolf drops his hand to my side. Perfect. We're going in the same direction. I'm sure you won't mind walking with me for a moment. His palm presses against the small of my back. It feels less. It feels less like walking and more like being pushed. I try to glance discreetly back to the bar, but the place is just too crowded. There's no way I can signal Yuri to get me out of this. And where the fuck is Dad? It's been less than a minute, and I've already lost him. You're stiff. Relax, Ravi. I just wanted to point out a few important people to you. One of the benefits of working with us allos and connections, after all. He smiles down at me. Bitch probably read my dossier and thinks he knows me. Swing 0 clearance. Which means he's also read Dad's. He must have. Working with your allos or for them. Clever boy, Ravi. But take your mind off the vagaries of business for a moment. I'm certain you're familiar with the regular celebrities who visit, but do you have any idea of the true caliber of people this place attracts? I wonder if you realize the uniqueness of a place where the high so freely mingle with the low. The crowd parts around him as he walks me through the club. For example, you see that wolf over there in the booth? He casually flicks a clawed finger towards a group of gangster-looking dorwolves, chromed, jazzed, and gilded. One of them, a bit more than the others, larger and older, his black and gold checked suit dripped with projected power. Father Awadarian of the Kindulak. Patriarch of the Kindulak. a criminal organization entirely composed of Darwolves. Oh, you mean the Darwolf supremacists? The big wolf chuckles, patting my shoulder. A gross simplification, not entirely unwarranted. But tonight, they're here to meet people, to be friendly. Loosen up. No harm in saying hello. The father knows his toy arms spread wide over the back of the booth's cushion's electric eyes suddenly flick to mine. My breath catches. He up nods. I'll swallow. See? Now you're friendly. He keeps his arm tight around me, showing me off like some kind of trophy. Over there, Vice President of Felix Motorworks. Smile now. I'm still reeling from making eye contact with one of the most violent men in the underworld. I manage a grimace, hoping it will satisfy him enough to leave me alone. Well, let me leave. I manage a grimace, hoping it will satisfy him enough to let me leave. I manage a grimace, hoping it will satisfy him enough to let me leave. Ah, look, that's the AIS Customer Identity Designer. Instead, I steered around the room. Firmatex, geoforming CSO. I feel like crawling up inside myself. PR coordinator of ICE News, chatty but useful. Sinking into purgatory. StarSet Overdrive's senior solutions strategist over in the VIP booth. Races actual hell. Akasa's lead information visioneer. He just keeps going. Is there no way out? Why are you doing this? Simply allowing you to be seen, Ravi. Don't underestimate the benefits of being recognized by the powerful. Next over there, the usually luminous in the tuxedo, Secretary of Netronics, Geofrig Dengun. The Secretary of Netronics, a powerful corporal politician. Another name I know, President of Sepulture Security, VNet, Lions, and a bunch of others. She looks a bit limp, giving over to Crown Song. The sharp Darwolf woman to her side, however, does not. An assistant, huh? Unfortunate she looks so stoned. I introduce you to for entertainment's sake. Unfortunate she looks so stoned. I introduce you for entertainment's sake, but she likely be drooling eating dough. Yep, damn same. Well, this has been fun. Wouldn't want to kill the buzz of one of the most important people in town, though, so should I? Now, Ravi, I know your powers of perception are better than that. It's a statement of strength that she's so unbothered. Try again. Look at her assistant. I squint. That's no assistant. She's there. Well, sure there's y'all business trimmed fur and corporate power suit. But her eyes are shaded by integrated silver lenses. Jazz lines illuminate her fur. Reinforced claws like Jill's tap on a pad. That's... I don't know what this one is. That's knowing in that there was noise in days away. A famous jazz runner, also known as Solar Sign. It's called Solar Sign then. Solar Sign. Yeah, that's better. I say it in spite of myself. Jazz runner legend, part of Jill's old crew. I thought she was dead. No one's heard from her or her team in months. Array of the Lions network gone bad. I didn't even recognize her at first. I believe A raid on the Lions network gone bad. I didn't even recognize her at first. I believe you kids would say she went corporal. I realized that Tarwolf was watching me stare at her. He grins. I thought she was dead too, briefly, but she's a true mercenary, swapping from punk hero to corporal bodyguard when it suited her interests. Strictly professional. Power explains why she'd rather be thought of as dead. I wouldn't be so hard on her. She's alive, after all. Be very good, Ravi. I didn't expect you to be so in tune. Now wave to Miss Scene. I weakly lift my hand. Now, wave to Miss Cena. I weakly lift my hand. Miss Cena notes me with a stern glance. Sweet cows, holy cock. I can see you from the stage. It's been like 10 minutes. You need to get away from him, or he'll parade you all around tonight. It's been like 10 minutes. You need to get away from him, or he'll parade you around all night. How? He's all over me. Easy. Be nasty and give him what he wants. Play the game. I hate everything you just said. Won't he see right through me? He will. But it won't matter. He won't stop until you make a move. He's testing you. I look up, adrenaline pumping. I hate how much of Kavir I see in the wolf's build. How similar their worth. I might even find him handsome if he didn't make me feel like constantly swallowing bile. Does he know? Can he smell it? I draw in a slow breath. Tarwolf. It feels wrong saying that name so casually to his face. With all his reputation and power, it feels beyond a slight of station, beyond breaking decorum, and more like violating some primal, fundamental rule. Don't provoke the beast. He smiles down at me, all grim eyes and dark fangs. Fuck off. I'm not interested. His grin widens into a dark rictus. Well, that's embarrassing. One big paw slides up and down my side, claws scraping over cloth. The other gently thumbs my chin, guiding me to look over all the people he just pointed out, and who are now all looking back. Such rudeness, all in front of all. Well, such rudeness, and in front of all these people. My heartbeat thunders. I feel like crumbling into dust. As a secretary of the company, I should make an example of you. I prefer my partners have a spine. He lifts his paw from my face and ruffles my hair, laughing loudly towards the crowd. All those eyes turning away. So congratulations. I see you learning how this works. I suddenly realize I have forgotten to breathe. I take a single startling breath and he smiles. Important note, pup, some advice to spare you further trouble. He gestures towards a group under the second floor overhang. They just look like normal people, granted with cyberware like juices, less crumb and more jazz. Laborers probably, with some tech punks mixed in. You won't be able to avoid the blood goals, not if you keep getting involved in runners. You won't be able to avoid the blood goals, not if you keep getting involved with runners. An organized street gang of anti-corporal interests, laborers, and the underserved. Oh, they'll spin you tales of workers' rights and deflecting company abuses, and many of them will even be true and ordered believers. He crouches down a little, looking me in the eye. But workers' politics are still politics. Don't think they'll be any different from me. He squeezes my side again and then releases me. I take a step away to regain some sense of composure, eyeing him for a moment. A spine, huh? A partner with a spine wouldn't just leave. Not after all that. This is just another play, another move of his game. So I clench a fist to calm my nerves, and I step back. Why do you care? You think I don't know people the gangs have fucked over? We lived on the streets before Dad worked up to this place, and I've been active in cyberspace even longer. I know what's up. He likes that. The fullness of him crowds me. Good. I press my heels against the floor and push back. Worry about me, huh? He leans over. Well, he leans even closer. His breath hot after. He leans even closer, his breath hot against my ear. Worrying is for the likes of accountants and secretaries. Secondary men. Just live your life, Wavi. Because remember, whatever you do, there'll always be room for you. Me. I practically feel his muzzle against my ear. And opportunities. He then pulls away, thumbing a fang, indulgent. Now walk along. I'm sure you have something illicit to get involved in. I retreat a little, suddenly unbalanced. No, I won't let his games ruin the rest of this city day. I turn and disappear into the crowd heading towards where I last saw Dad. Thank fuck it worked. Sorry, kid. Vomit later. There's some tech punks loitering on these stairs, mostly Darwolves like Tarwolf and Derek, and all drunk on There's some tech punks loitering on the stairs, mostly Darwolves like Tarwolf and Doric, and all drunk on Crown's voice. I recognize a few of them from the Blood Goals group Tarwolf pointed out. Dressed in outrageous punk fashion, they're hard to forget. Holographic, translucent jackets and pants, wires weaved into dyed hair and fur-like circuitry, far military hats with neon marquees, spitting light and anti-corporal slogans. I feel weary after my talk with Tarwolf. Darwolf punks come in two types, either a special kind of rebel, enemies of the Kinelak or the Kinelak and all that the company stands for, or Twinders. Normally, I try to suss out the difference by using the complicated tech punk lingo that defines a movement. But with the pressure of time ticking, I struggle to find the words. So, hey, I gesture to the wall. Barathar, yo, can you pick a side? I need to get past. Fuck off, Iactra. Foreigner, especially from the Swad. We see you with a big Corporal Wolf. He spits. Yeah, so go back home to the Swad. Corporal collaborator. Yeah, great. This is my home. I hate explaining this to people, and I don't have the time right now. Derek has me on edge. Tarwolf has me on edge. Everything has me on edge. You mean all this? She gestures broadly to the club's decorations and opulence. All it takes is something dumb like Crown's nationalistic stage antics to stoke anti-Swad sentiment. Even in the Eat the Weech. There's propaganda comment might have been on the money. Maybe Tarvel's too. So I take a breath, reaching for the words more carefully this time. But why far? Kike, you want me gone? Okay. I thought my fist to my heart. I take Punk salute and then gestured towards the stairs. I thought my fist to my heart. I take Punk salute and then gestured towards the stairs. Just make a fulcrum path, Sasai. A clear traversable. Please. Basically, just make a clear path, please. Now just let me through, please. Harry Punk clicks her tongue at me, giving me a harsh once over and then a sharp up and on. Yeah, sister, I'm one of you. Just give me a crazy hat. You can the restats. You understand. I understand the Punk one. Yeah. Shred disaster no more. Yeah, he's not loyal to Shred anymore. Adjusted to my earpiece, swells like me don't get to use tech and Shred Hazard. It's too weird, too holy. Fuck the Shred. I point over my shoulder, back towards Torwolf. Fuck the company. I thought my chest again. Berthar now. She glances between me, my take of the performance, looking conflicted. Whatever self-righteous furrow she had seems to drain away. Alright, Kite. No trouble with Berthar. She casts her gaze to the rest of the group, nodding. Batha? Wait. There's a murmur of assent. Okay, but she points at me. Face of the big wolf no more. You kin? All of her punk buddies gather around and stare me down like I'm one step away from going for a couple. It's fucking degrading. As if Tarwolf gave me a choice. But fine, whatever. Yeah, Taiken. An acknowledgement. She extends her fist towards me, much like Juice did before her. I bump hers with mine, and we both pull our hands away with horns. Oka Owab, Kike. Okay. Customary farewell, roughly, sail in peace. Oka Owab. A few more tense fist bumps, some muttering, and they make room for me. How did Dad weave his skinny ass past these guys, anyways? Problem. Bitch is crowded. Give me a minute. Someone's getting fussy. A remote stock pen, that's what I need to invent. Stick it on someone to give a good jolt whenever they're being a huge cunt. I weave around 20 or so more bodies and then veer towards a wall and a security door. This one just needs a passcode. I step into a short hallway with a huff. There's only a handful of doors here, each leading to a private room. I quickly walk straight to the back of the hall and pull a jazzed up utility tool from my pocket, squeezing the grip and thumbing a switch. A beam of holographic hard light sizzles from its emitter material and firm. Flathead. The emitter pulses and warps the beam into a screwdriver. I use it to pry off a small panel from the wall. Doing so reveals the access port to this hallway's security architecture. I set aside the panel, pocket the tool, and then reach for the back of my earpiece to retrieve its remote connector plug, inserting it into the wall. An insubstantial holographic wire sizzles from the wall to my piece. Alright, now we can get started. I quickly navigate to the active security feeds. Yeah, I know. I call up Dad's biometrics, saved, which I have saved for no particular reason, and run them through the connection. I swipe through the feeds one by one. The first room is empty, the second room empty, the third room. I see Dad sitting at a table with two figures who are blurred and fragmented. Their voices are distorted. One of them must be broadcasting a complicated masking protocol. They're probably a net runner. Clever. I'm running out of stage time, kid. Well, improvise, I don't know. Entertain them, entertainer. I quickly run through a handful of counter hack functions. But I'm clearly not as good as whoever this is. I only have one powerful hacking tool. Story time is the last resort, given the day's earlier events. Well, a few swipes and I deploy my quadri daemon, an advanced logic algorithm that can interfere with other programs enough to allow one of my simpler hacks to slip through. Honestly, I don't really know how it works, but it does. And Servat, I'm in. Good, excellent. The blurred faces swiftly defragment and become clear, as do their voices. I'll start recording. Okay, dance with some punky looking feathered lady. And next to her is, no way. My heart starts pounding. I'm screwed. I know exactly who that is. And worse, he knows exactly who I am. Maybe if I can, maybe if I play my cards right, Crown won't know that everything that's about to happen was my fault. And some other dude. Some indeed had grown into my palm. It's my ex. Punking feather, huh? Interesting. That would be Knave. Elias, of course, head of the Sopracy Collective. You know, the. Fuck me twice. I don't think I've had a more confounding day in my life. I know. I was the chairman. Dismantled the company. Basic tech punk stuff. Sit up for a second. Standing next to Nev is the Quadri, Damon's original designer. My ex-boyfriend. He didn't just code the Conjury either. He trained it by hand. He told me he fine-tuned each of the many thousands of nodes in my nodes in his algorithm. He wanted it to be perfect. It was a gift commemorating the first day we met. He'll recognize the program immediately. If you know the CSC, then you know how very bad it looks for your dad to be having a private meeting with the chairman's personal boogie woman. Wait, you said she's with someone? She should be alone. Who is it? Quiet, I'm listening. If I leak the Damon on Pat's notes, will he think this was a coincidence? He'd be so pissed that I don't have the time. Crown's counting on me, for whatever that's worth. But Kavir, I can't let Kavir down. Delightful as always, Nev. Cut the jib, Erwin. I'm not Tarwolf, and I don't have time for a production. Her language is crisp, paused, not exactly what I expected. You said you have important information that had to be delivered personally. Relay it. Of course, in a moment. Who is this with you? Insurance. Does insurance have a name? I hate to be rude. Nev looks to her associate. Your call. The man blinks, as if he'd been focused on something. Probably using his neurally interface optical display similar to mine, but all wired up in his brain. I have a pretty good guess at what he was distracted by. I shiver. Jonah. Uh-huh. Nev nods, some wordless message passing between them. Security? I close my eyes, barely daring to breathe. It's off, as he promised. What? Even if he checked just before I jacked in, he'd be alerted as soon as the system turned on. I guess the quandary is better than I thought. I'm the performer here, kid. Enough of the suspense. Count on the cracker he's needy. Dude calls himself Jonah, but you know him as. I hesitate. I didn't want to betray the guy, but Crown can't see the feed, so I wager the risk is pretty minimal. This blows. Huh, really? And that blinder in the flesh? What other runner is gonna have the sweet rep to get away with a name like Blows? I just have a hard time believing you know on sight someone who's made a reputation for always running solo and never being seen. Bleh, fair enough. I know because we met in person once, and only once. Right before he joined the CSC, he asked me to join with him. I didn't. End of story. If you're right, why the fuck haven't you jacked out yet? This is over if you get caught. It's fine, I'm concealed for now, I think. Besides, I need this. I take a slow breath. I'm using his own software against him. First, that's stone cold. Second, that what he just gave you? I glance again at the feed, still no reactions to conjuring. It doesn't look like I'm about to be busted. It should be safe to tell Crown the truth. Gifted. Why in all of unholy rice would a big shot paranoid net runner care about a no-name foreign kid like you? You're foreign too, asshole. I sigh. If you must know, you're damn right I must. We met randomly by avatar in a cyber bar a few years ago. As far as I knew, he was just some lonely guy who wanted company. Naturally, he was in a burner avatar. Anyways, he eventually invited me to a private space parsing off between the local net and the cyber sea, and started giving me net runner lessons in exchange for stories from back home. He really liked the ones about WADs, Sir WADs in particular, the big spirits. Otherwise, no probing personal questions, no past, just teats and tails. I sat back on the security feed to make sure I'm not missing anything important. Alan Domowek will be staying here, so this will be the last we can meet for some time. Sounds like he's just spilling beans I already know. After a few months, he wanted more. I didn't. That's it. I didn't even know the name's Blows until he told me in our last meeting. I knew him by a different name before then. How fucking romantic. Hearing him laugh in my head is extremely unpleasant. You are out of your cow's damn mind. You really expect me to believe you and Blows had some kind of cyber fling? I don't owe you a personal history lesson. You know what? You're right. It doesn't matter. You could be an extremely skilled liar, but after seeing Taro sniffing at your ass, gaining the trust of the one of the net's most notorious wonders doesn't seem so far-fetched. Not to mention Kavir. Guess you're more than just some joy boy after all. You're the joy boy. Fuck off. I look back at the security feed. Sinan. I'm sure it was an alias, but that's the name my feelings were attached to. The famous incognito net runner, also known as Disc Blows, or the net blinder. Still somewhat attached, I guess. Yeah. What do you even want from me? One more interesting nugget will do. Fine, I'm tuning back in. The remote surveillance tunnel you provided worked as intended. I set it down, as promised, once Taro left. Said Dark was right. It was intentional. Then you heard what Alodamowek said about the research lab discovered in the roots of the virtuosity, or ecology, yes? The company's original old world name. We did, but some things are still unclear. What exactly did they find? Do you know? Unfortunately, I don't know what exactly, only that it resulted in precise coordinates. But I do believe I know why all the sudden movement. It's about the virtuous AI, isn't it? The room is suddenly silent. Both Dad and Nev stare at him. They're going on about something called the virtuous AI. Crown's tone is suddenly dead serious. Listen to everything they say. Why, yes, that's by presumption. At least, how did you know? We're near myth. Just when the club chatter bullshit. The biggest score, the treasure of treasures, that kind of thing. Nev seems to gather her wits. She clears her throat. Don't oversell it, Jonah. It's a fantasy. It's only got mystique because it's classified under the Dangerous Technology Censorship Act. I've seen a lot of strange things in cyberspace, Nev. Network anomalies, data knots, information storms, woke AI. At the very least, I'm concerned. Well, at the very least, I'm convinced. It's a fantasy. It's only got mystique because it's classified under the Dangerous Technologies Censorship Act. I've seen a lot of strange things in cyberspace, Nev. Network anomalies, data knots, information storms, woke AI. At the very least, I'm convinced that there's a lot we still don't know. While that may be true, I have my feet firmly planted in pragmatism, Jonah. We know the chairman has been chasing it for years. And we know nothing's ever been discovered. You attest to that yourself after hacking the Lions network. With the Assembly's recent pressure on the corporate families to rein in the chairman's spending. Well, it's convenient timing, don't you think? Maybe. But there must be something to it if the chairman's so invested. I shouldn't have to remind you just how much money the company funnels into various often pointless committee pet projects. Fair enough. It may not be so pointless. This time Nev and Blows look at each other, then Aaron. Explain. The virtuous AI is real, or at least the location is. The coordinates lead to a secret virtuosity R&D facility. The woman's eyes narrow. What? You didn't think to lead with that? It begs for clarification, which I was getting to. For Kyle's sake, Aaron, not every meeting of ours needs to build with the tension of a 3-act tragedy. Spread it out. Very well. I can't confirm what they're looking for is real, but my sources have confirmed this isn't a boondoggle. He holds up his pad to project a map of the Laotian circuit, ancient subway tunnels branching out from the original Laotian metro. You're familiar with this map, yes? Of course. He taps the pad, a handful of new tunnels appear in red. The circuit stalkers have been mapping the circuit's remains for ages, as I'm sure you're aware. However, the gang kept this little nugget to themselves. Some sort of service tunnels were volatile and likely, at the time illegal, laboratory materials less. As far as I know, neither VSI or Coordinates are fully aware of them. That seems unlikely. The ones they know about have all been duds, either so ruined as to not be worth excavating, or they all lead to empty way stations for cargo transfer to the surface. Either way, nothing of use was ever discovered, so the company's been in no great hurry to explore further. Then where did you get this? Jasper raid on a stalker hideout. It went poorly. One of us almost killed to the man. I heard about that. Wasn't I one their winner? a talented soccer jockey and jazz winner with a mixed reputation. I'm told he was operating remotely but managed to retrieve these schematics from the Stalker databanks before the job went sour. The woman clicks her tongue. And I warned you about A1. That tragedy could very well have been his fault, perhaps, but provenance aside, A1 sold the information to his fixer, who verified its authenticity and then sold it to me. As a substantial makeup, I might add, though it would have been much larger had he been fully aware of the data's value. Enough aggrandizement. So raise your hand. Get to the point. Dad zooms in on one tunnel, seeming to cut away from the main lines and heading out on its own deep into the right. The tunnel beyond this point is impassable, but if you follow its trajectory just a bit further, it runs right into the chairman's search area. Indeed, the very same area the chairman's been obsessed with. It's not conclusive, I realize, but it strongly suggests the chairman's aware of something we're not. He raised a projection of tunnels away. And with the discovery of more precise coordinates in this recently charted expedition, it's enough to be concerning, I agree. She sighs and presses the palm of her hand against her forehead, momentarily entertaining the idea that such a thing as a virtuous AI even exists. It would be an absolute disaster if the chairman got a hold of it. It wouldn't be just the CSC's problem. We could pull in our allies. Yes, we could, and that is the point, isn't it? What do you mean? Wherever is there, we can't let the chairman or Tarwell get close to it. This knowledge forces our hand to act and intercept. Right, so what's the problem? Politics is a problem, Jonah. Strategy. If we feel pressure to act, you can be absolutely certain Tarwolf has come to the same conclusion. She pauses and then turns to Dad, suddenly furious. He wanted you to tell us, didn't he, to force us into revealing our hand? Not in so many words, but he certainly made clear he expected the information to leak. Hence his behavior. Naturally, he has no evidence that we're in contact. Even if he did, I doubt he'd act on it for this very reason. If we overcommit, he'll be able to gauge our resources and potentially sniff out our allies. She drums her manicured claws against the table as he studies the wooded grain. But if we undercommit and this virtuous AI fantasy is true, that would mean at best unmitigated safe access to wild cybersea. They could find untold catches of lost data technology. And that worse, the company could potentially find the tech they need to regain actionable control of the cybersea, not just safe passage. If they can do that, they can crack down on the local net, eliminate the data havens, sever communications between all our allies and resistance cells. Organized resistance will be impossible. Dag shakes his head. More than that, theoretically, the chairman could become another tailspinner. Nail's claws stop. She looks up, incredulous. Don't be ludicrous, Erwin. Our recorded history is spotty because under singularity catastrophe, true, but that doesn't mean gods were in any way involved. Well, wait. Why not? Not gods exactly, but jazz singers and other similar sorts of people exist, and we all know what jazz tech can do. Is it such a stretch to consider that tail spinners were once real people who had extraordinary talents? Jazz tech came from somewhere, after all. What if it's just a matter of finding the right blueprints, the right power source? Nev studies blows for a long time, her brows furrowing tightly. I have no interest in metaphysical conjecture, Jonah. You're seriously suggesting a single real person could have what it takes to kill millions and ruin the world, just like race? Or attempt to save it, just like Cullen? Indeed, such a person would both wield incredible power and shoulder an incredible burden. To them, reality would be a blank tapestry upon which to weave their wishes. They would have all the threads they need to spin together such a story. Wait, they could change all the rules, take control. What? Of everything. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you, NP? Oh, fuck. My whole system's locked up. Both of you quandary like this, and so poorly. Against me of all people. Ugh. So I figure you must have some stake in this. Betrayal's never been your style. What do I even say? It's nothing personal. That would be the city jazz runner thing to do. Professional. I was just asked to listen. I didn't know it was you. Maybe not at first, but you could have checked out at any time. I even sat there and waited. I would have let you go. But now it's too late for that. So answer my question and I'll consider not putting you on a CSC sit list. Who are you listening for? Why? It's just a stupid jazz runner test. Really. Really bug Aaron. I'm sorry I heard any of it. This isn't the kind of thing you can just apologize for, NP. This is the kind of information that gets people killed. You, your friends, me, people in the CSC. I forget I heard anything. Not good enough. I'm deleting your recordings and backup. Your saving grace is I don't detect any transmissions, so it's just the information in your head that's the problem. How can I make this better? You can't, but you can make it not worse. If I hear about any of this information leaking, or you get involved in CSC business again, it won't be my call. I thought you were better than this. The CSC is bigger than me. The CSC is the tide, and river that can't be stopped. They will drown you. Wait, Santa. Because of connection, my deck sets off. Sliding down the floor, I burn my face against an arm and swallow hard. I think I'm going to be sick. Well, I'm about to walk off stage. What are they saying? I can't even tell him, can I? Blows counter hat me and almost put me on the CSC blacklist. Yeah, that'll look great. Cal, what will Kerrville think? Our relationship was always weird. Fuck, I should never have been part of any of this. Ravi, stupid. I forget everything I said. I could have, but how could he have trusted that? How can I make this better? What a silly thing to ask. Of course there's no. Listen, wait, I stand. Maybe there is. What did Dad say? Change all the rules. Take control. Yeah, he said similar things in the past, but this time it feels different. I've never successfully pushed the limits of my power before. Maintaining focus has always been too challenging, or Dad scared me off with warnings. I look at my hands. But if truth is really just saying, can I be the furnace? The only furnace? Can I create the life I want? Can I become some sort of god? A tail spinner? Ravi. It seems far-fetched, but then again, just everything about time, about story time. So it's everything about story time. I squeeze my hands into fists. I brush past all the warnings. If I'm truly this powerful, I have nothing to fear. Let's see what I can do. I close my eyes, listen, and enter the story time. Reality and color shift. Neon and pixels. I perceive the hallway as it is and as it was. The building as it is and as it was. Voices and music from the club mingle with the specters of the past, but I'm not here for them. What yet? Did you just blow past the threshold? A curse from Crown. Somehow I can still hear him, if distantly, but if this works, soon it won't matter. So I push his voice away. I'll sharpen my focus. I'll summon my power. First, a test. The conversation Ravi spied on hasn't happened yet. Ravi had just opened the security panel. A pulse, a rippling of the ether. The air about me began to swirl, strangely viscous and material, a liquid composed of uncountable threads, a vortex, spinning downward into something new. But instead of pulling me down, I'm in control. It's pulling. Well, it's me pulling up. I've never felt this way before, connected to something cosmic and essential, something deep within the story time itself. I'll focus on that connection. I'll draw upon it. A specter of the past smokes off me like a cloud settling against the wall. The conversation with Senna unraveling itself. The walls become translucent, glowing lines of neon geometry. The walls become translucent, glowing lines and neon geometry. I see Dan, Neve, and Sinan, their words retract and undone. So it's true. I wonder then, what happens to people without story names to protect them from the likes of me? But what? I'm here. But I don't remember. Well, that's weird, but also not my problem. I consider undoing his connection, but there's something satisfying about having a witness. Besides, what do I have to worry about? With power like this, I pushed his voice away again. Aaron fell over after greeting Neve. A pulse. But nothing happens. Expected. I always figured I can affect myself without using my own story name because it's me. It's my own story. But that story should be protected from me unless everyone fell over after greeting Neve. Another pulse. Still nothing. Now that's curious. It's his story time. It's at work. I turn to Sinan and blows or whatever. He shouldn't have a story name, so it doesn't matter. I know who he is. Sinan's hardware bugs and does not alert him to Ravi's security access. Sinan is also distracted and doesn't notice Ravi's use of the quandary. The vortex around me swirls with energy. And the scenario plays out as before, but as expected, Sinan begins to look off, distance, distracted. He doesn't catch me this time. Yes. I turn back to Dan. Everyone coughed. Nothing. Everyone stumbled. Nothing. Everyone stumbled. Nothing. Everyone sneezed. Everyone waved his hand. Dad was finally honest for once in his goddamn life. Nothing. I don't get it. I guess he lied to me about his story name too. Because, well, it doesn't matter. I'm done with lies. I'm done with ultimatums. I'm done with politics and games and gangs and collectives and revolutions. I'm done with it all. So I guess Tara was right. Finally, I can live my life, find my home. Feel safe, in control. Make my own choices. Be with Kavir. Finally, I can be free. If I just seize this opportunity. if I just make it happen. So I close my eyes, and I summon my power, all of it. You are not ready. The vortex becomes a maelstrom, and I become a god. Ravi has always been. Listen, my voice catches as I feel an icy needle shoot through everything I am. The atmosphere thickens with an oppressive hunger. I struggle to take another breath. No, no, not now. I can still do this. Ravi, never. Hear us. A cold thread entangles me, wrapping around my throat. It doesn't feel at all like the swallows embrace their glittering life, their glittering lifeline. It pulls me towards a void, a yearning, a craving never satisfied until me. It draws me in. Feelings, memory, hunger. So much hunger, a connection builds between us. I see fire, cities reduced to ash by 1,000 fingers of light. The skyline of St. Leo's marred by the machines of war. Mutation, transformation, abomination, pain and ruin and death. You can change this. We will help you. Whispers caress the edges of my mind. Listen, why would you want to fix this? Don't you want to be the hero? Don't you wish to be a god? Ravi, you don't know what you're dealing with. Get out. His voice is weak, panicked. You can have everything. Just tell us your story. I just want to be happy. I choke. Ravi only once. The thread becomes an iron tether, a hook, an anchor buried in my chest. The maelstrom of me becomes wild, more power on focus. I feel it surge through reality, towards reality. Those terrible visions. I won't. I can't. I have to hold on. Listen, 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 listen. 1,000 whispers surround me. Unsaved stories, wars against the threshold. It's 2 months. Who are you? I fall to my knees. Crown was right. The swallow was right. Dad was right. I try to grip it, control my power to escape. Ravi, but it's too late. The line draws taut. The whispers spitting, sorting through the story of my memories. Who are you? The story of me. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible rendering from the very ether. And then he whispers. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible rendering from the very ether. And then he appears. His voice is steely and cold, a razor behind gentleness, a toxic mockery of paternal benevolence. Cruel and kind, distant, distant and familiar. You listened. The fullness of an eyeless, smiling maw. We know you know. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible rendering from the very ether. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible rendering from the very ether. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible rendering from the very ether. And then he appears. His voice is steely and cold, a razor behind gentleness, a toxic mockery of paternal benevolence. Cool and kind, distant and familiar. You listened. The fullness of an eyeless, smiling maw. We know you know. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible, windowing from the very other. And then he appears. His voice is steely and cold, and waves. I feel myself pulled towards something terrible, windowing from the very other. And then he appears. His voice is steely and cold, a waves behind gentleness, a toxic mockery of paternal benevolence, cruel and kind, distant and familiar. You listened. The fullness of an eyeless, smiling maw. We know you now. The needle tips of countless slithering tongues drawn together, coiling, ready. Story of stories. One after another, they pierce and taste me. Vision keeper. I feel something essential inside of me shatter. That hidden barrier keeping him out. My story name. My story name. Havayan. Okay, this is chapter 4 now. Alright, so we'll start chapter 4 next time. So, Ravi got tired of all the constant issues and all the trouble he's been getting himself in lately with Tarwolf and Darwick, and then him trying to be, I think he was trying to get involved with his father's other things going on, but trying to know about it. And that only got him in more trouble. And his ex-boyfriend, who is kind of like, who is known infamously, found out about him, sneaking on them in their conversation. So, it looks like his father is talking with these jazz runners, I think. These jazz runners behind Tarwolf's back. I mean, so I guess this is what he's talking about, like him having to do things, him having to do something dangerous to keep Ravi safe. So, yeah, doing things against the Secretary of Defense, Tarwolf, that's dangerous. That's really dangerous for him to be doing, especially when you're in a partnership with him. Alright, so it seems as though Crown is slowly starting to have some more respect for Ravi. I mean, he's still kind of a stick in the mud, but he's not overly nasty to him now. He even seems to be kind of concerned about what Ravi is doing in a story time. So he's slowly gaining Crown's respect, which is good. And so, like I said, all the politics and the different divisions, and his father keeping things from him, and his father doing things behind his back. Ravi seems to be tired with all of it, so he's using the story time to change the reality. So I think that's basically what story time is. That's kind of what I figured. Like Ravi using story time to alter his reality, or the reality of the world, to what he wants. And apparently Crown's also knowledgeable about this. He's also able to control story time. I guess his reality of story time and Ravi's. Ravi got his own, I guess. But anyway, he wanted to use story time to change his reality to the way he wants it. And he also got to see what happened to San Neos with I guess some kind of war was going on, and the city was in ruins. So he apparently wants to try to go back in the past and change all that, but he wasn't ready. And I think he was warned about this too in the past. And there's this monster that appeared, and I think that might have been the same monster or the same entity that tried to get him early in the story, like like literally in the first video, right after right after we met Kavir, and Ravi decided to use story time, and this same entity, he was confronted by the same entity. I guess that's the same entity now, except this time we actually get to see it. Alright, so I wonder how Ravi's gonna get himself out of this situation here. So chapter 4 will start next time. We'll see you then. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.